Okay, good evening. The date is June 1st, 2026, and the time is 7:03. I hereby call to order the meeting of the City Council of the City of Groveland, Florida. We'll stand for the pledge, led by Vice Mayor Gaines, and remain standing for invocation, which will be provided by Pastor Jonathan Brinkley of Vision Church.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bow your head. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you, Father, for having us come together today. Father, I'm asking you that you bless this meeting, Father, with wisdom from our elected officials and city staff. We are praying, Father, for the integrity and honesty in every decision that is being made, unity despite having different opinions, peace and safety in the community. We are thanking you, Father, for the elected officials. We are thanking you, Father, for those that are here. We are thanking you, Father, for all of the teachers, the police chief, the fire chief, Father, teachers represented, the schools and families that's represented here, the local businesses, Father, that will bring economic growth, protection for the vulnerable, the elderly, and the children. We are praying, Father, also for healing and restoration where there may be or may have been division in the past, guidance to make decisions that will benefit future generations. We are grateful for those who accepted the responsibility of public service and those who dedicate their time and efforts to the well-being of our city. Today we are asking you, Father, for wisdom and knowledge as we move forward. Honesty, Father, in the name of Jesus, and healing to a community. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Jenny, would you please take the roll?
Yes. Mayor Keith Kehoe.
Here.
Vice Mayor Barbara Gaines.
Here.
Councilmember Amy Jo Carroll. Here. Councilmember Michael J. Cox.
Here.
Councilmember Stephen Shulkowski.
Here.
Interim City Manager Tim Maslow.
Here.
Interim City Attorney Ben Schaefer.
Here.
Sergeant at Arms Chief Sean Ramsey. Here. City Clerk Jenny Wright here.
And we have a quorum. Thank you. Next, we have on the agenda, we have adoption of agenda as presented. Would I get a motion to?
Motion to accept the agenda
As presented?
as presented?
Second?
Second.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, next, guest speaker announcements, presentations, and proclamations. First, we have Advent Health Mineola, presented by our CEO, Kay Barnett, and I can't tell you how glad we are to have you here, Ms. Barnett, from Advent, that beautiful hospital.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the warm welcome, Mayor and council members. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. As key constituents of the healthcare services here in South Lake County, really pleased to be here this evening just to offer an update on Advent Health Mineola, which opened 6 short months ago, and the healthcare services that we are working to expand here in South Lake County. So like I mentioned, we opened 6 short months ago as an important step to bringing healthcare closer to home. Right now in South Lake County, over half of the residents in this area actually leave the area when they need inpatient services. And that was really our mission, is to bring faith-based, whole person care close to home here in South Lake County. Since we have opened the doors of Advent Health Mineola, I'm so pleased to share that we have cared for nearly 5,000 individuals since that time through emergency services, inpatient admissions, surgeries, imaging, and other diagnostics. This campus is helping to close those access gaps here in South Lake County by making it easier for families to find care locally and stay connected to their loved ones. I'm also pleased to share that at the end of July, we're going to be opening a medical office building right there on the campus to also expand access to specialty care. So now on the Mineola campus, you'll have the ability to see everything from gastroenterology, urology, oncology, cardiology, general surgery, orthopedics, rehab, laboratory, and even retail pharmacy options. And so we are very excited about that because we know that today wait times to see physicians are longer than what any of us would like them to be. And we have already brought 12 providers here to the community, with 6 more set to start by the end of the year, all with the aim of making care more accessible to our community. Advent Health Central Florida was recognized by U.S. News and World Reports as the #1 hospital in the state of Florida and in the top 20 hospitals nationwide. And it is something we're so proud of, to be able to bring that level of care right here to Southlake County. And while the expansion and growth in Mineola is bringing world-class care right here to Southlake County and making it more accessible to our residents here in Groveland, we know that this area very much needs and deserves healthcare services right here, and we are very excited for the day in the future where we can expand medical services here in Groveland. Thank you for the time tonight and the opportunity to share our progress, and for the ongoing support of this community.
Thank you so much and welcome. And you're welcome anytime. Come on back. Next, recognition of Groveland Youth Council 2025-2026. Ms. Ashley Wright.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council, Interim City Manager Maslow. Tonight it is my honor to reintroduce to you, another member of our Groveland Youth Council. They have completed their 2025-2026 Youth Council semester, and I have to say that we are so extraordinarily proud of them. The way that they have demonstrated our strategic core values has not just been exemplary, it's been embodied. They have been a reflection of the heart and leadership and sight that this council reflects to our community. So it is my honor to introduce to you Miss Beautiful McCoy, who is for our Groveland Youth Council, our student engagement and outreach lead. She absolutely has a heart for informed and especially engaged communities. So without further ado, Miss Beautiful McCoy.
Good evening, Mayor, councilmen and women, and everyone else here. My name is Beautiful McCoy, and I'm a proud member of the Groveland Youth Council, as well as a Student Outreach and Engagement Youth Council leader. My address is 13806 State Road 23. And today I will talk to you about our upcoming Youth Entrepreneurship Expo and why it's an important opportunity for students in our community. The expo will be held on June 13th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Nathaniel's Community Gymnasium. This event gives teen entrepreneurs a chance to showcase their ideas, whether it's a small business, a service, a product, or something they're still developing. It's open to all teens, and it's completely free. Student engagement matters because it helps young people grow into ways that school alone can't. When students get involved, they build confidence, leadership skills, and get a taste of the real-world experience. They learn how to talk about their ideas, how to problem solve, and how to connect with people around them. These are skills they will use for the rest of their lives. And for this expo specifically, engagement is even more important. This event gives students a real platform, a chance to be heard, to be seen, and to take their ideas seriously. It's a safe space for them to practice presenting, answer questions, and get feedback without feeling judged. It also opens doors so students can meet mentors, local business owners, and other young entrepreneurs who can inspire them or even help them take their ideas further. And the more students we have involved, the stronger our youth community becomes, and the more impact our youth council can make. Overall, this expo is about empowering young people, celebrating creativity, and showing what the Youth Council are capable of. We want to encourage students to participate or even invite someone they know who may be interested. Thank you.
Thank you. Very well done.
Is there any questions?
Can you just repeat the date and time?
I'm sorry?
Can you repeat the date and time?
Yes, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
The date?
June 13th, 2026, on a Saturday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. You all are doing great. You all, along with Ashley, are building leaders for tomorrow, the next day, and the next day. And being a small business advocate, I am so excited that the seed has been planted for young teen entrepreneurs. And you all are going to continue, there's no doubt in my mind, to water that seed. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
No, thank you. That is a great compliment to us as youth council. Is
Thank
there
you.
anything else?
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Tonight's consent agenda is packed. So Jenny, could you please read the titles?
Yes. Consideration of approval, May 18th, 2026, City Council meeting minutes. Resolution 2026-31, agreement between the School Board of Lake County, Florida, and the City of Groveland for the School Resource Officer Program 2026-2027. Resolution 2026-24, authorizing the mayor to sign the termination agreement between the City of Groveland and Ocado Solutions USA, LLC. Resolution 2026-32, approving the utility agreement between the City of Groveland and CVAD Phase 1 LLC relating to the development of property located on the south side of SR 50, east of East Side Drive, west of CR 565A, and north and east of Mount Vista Road for the project referred to as the Grove, acknowledging reserved potable water and wastewater capacity subject to the terms of the agreement.
Thank you. Is there anything on the consent agenda that we need to remove from the council? Any public comment? None? I have just one question for my own thing. Why does it say on C, authorizing the mayor to sign the termination agreement? Shouldn't we be approving I sign all the agreements, but shouldn't the council be approving that and then it's automatic signature?
This would allow council to approve you signing it.
We're giving you the authority to sign it.
You're saying?
Yeah, I went through, I didn't have any issues unless anyone had any issues with the termination.
From a legal standpoint, it's synonymous. They're basically just saying you have the authority to move forward because they've approved it. That's basically, yeah.
We're trusting that you went line by line on it and then.
Okay, so we have no questions. We have a motion to accept.
Motion to accept the consent agenda, all of it, A through D.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Let's move on to the vote, please.
Yes. Councilmember Szulkowski, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Gaines?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
Aye.
Councilmember Jaycox?
Aye.
Mayor Kehoe?
Aye. We're moving on to old business. Jenny, we have 3 items. Could you please read the titles?
Yes. We have to take individual votes, so I'll read them individually. Yeah. Consideration of approval, ordinance 2026-5, Langley Industrial Annexation, second reading. An ordinance extending and increasing the corporate limits of the City of Groveland, County of Lake, State of Florida, pursuant to the voluntary annexation provisions of Section 171.044, Florida statutes, annexing 6.2 plus-minus acres of real property not embraced within the present limits of the City of Groveland, owned by Rutland International, Inc., providing for findings, providing for a legal description and map, directing the city manager to record certified copies of this ordinance after the approval with the clerk of the circuit court, the county manager of Lake County, and the secretary of the state of Florida, providing for conflicts and severability, providing for scrivener's errors, setting an effective date.
Thank you. Consideration of rule ordinance. Do we have a motion to accept 2026-5?
Motion to accept 2026-5.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, any public discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and take the vote, please.
Councilmember Carroll, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Szolkowski?
Aye.
Councilmember Jay Cox?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Gaines?
Aye.
Mayor Kehoe?
Aye. Item 2.
Consideration of approval, ordinance 2026-6, Langley Industrial Small-Scale Comprehensive Plan Amendment, second reading. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Groveland, Lake County, Florida, amending the City of Groveland's comprehensive plan pursuant to 163.31871 Florida statutes by amending the future land use plan designation from Lake County Industrial to the City of Groveland Employment Center on the future land use map for the herein described properties consisting of 6.2 plus-minus acres, authorizing the city manager to amend said comprehensive plan, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for severability and scrivener's errors, providing for an effective date, and providing for the forwarding of this ordinance to the State of Florida Department of Commerce.
Thank you. We have a 2026-6. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve ordinance 2026-6 as submitted.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Any public discussion? Seeing none, let's move on with a vote.
Councilmember Jay Cox, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
Aye.
Councilmember Szolkowski?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Gaines?
Aye.
Mayor Kehoe?
Aye. Item 3.
Consideration of approval, ordinance 2026-7, Langley Industrial Rezoning, second reading, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Groveland, Florida, to change the zoning from Lake County Light Manufacturing to the City of Groveland Light Industrial for the herein described property owned by Rutland International, Inc., and located on Republic Drive, south of U.S. Highway 27, east of Democracy Street, and west of State Road 19, directing the city manager to amend the zoning map as herein provided after the passage of this ordinance, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. We have a motion to accept 2026-7.
A motion to accept 2026-7.
Second.
We have a motion in 2 seconds.
Boy, can happen.
Any discussion?
Just in case.
Seeing none, any public discussion? Seeing none, let's move on with the vote.
Who seconded the motion?
Barbara.
Okay, thank you.
Also.
Okay. Councilmember Carroll, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Gaines?
Aye.
Councilmember Jay Cox?
Aye.
Councilmember Szolkowski?
Aye.
Mayor Kehoe?
Aye. All right. Done with old business. Can we move on to new business? Consideration of approval, hiring of 3 additional firefighters. I think, Mr. Maslow, would you like to take
Yeah,
over?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'm happy to give a short introduction before our Chief Kevin Carroll provides a presentation for you. As you may recall, on May 4th at the council, as part of the mid-year budget amendment, we approved 3 additional firefighters. An additional 3 was discussed, but we tabled that item to bring back to provide a presentation in terms of numbers and how we might potentially save on overtime along with capital expenses in terms of vehicular operations for the fire department. I've also asked each department to come up with a new innovative strategy to either maintain or expand levels of service while saving the taxpayers money. Chief Carroll is first out the gate in terms of presenting this innovative strategy. I anticipate more presentations like this from the rest of our departments throughout the budget process. I did want to make a note that this is a consideration of approval tonight. If council prefers, we're happy to provide a presentation and make this discussion only tonight. If you'd like to take action and table that, that's totally the council's prerogative. We're happy to continue this conversation if council prefers doing that as part of the budget process. But with that said, I want to provide the Kevin Carroll, Chief of Fire, to give a presentation.
Thank you. Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, Mr. Maslow, Ginny, Mr. Schaefer, thank you so much for this opportunity to bring this to your attention tonight. You know, you have charged us, and Mr. Maslow has done this very well. You know, how to curb cost. And we have turned this presentation into not necessarily the ask tonight. This is turned into a straight presentation that explain how we can enhance services. Enhance, meaning increase the level of service that we currently provide, while at the same time over the next 4 to 5 years, reducing cost, saving money to the city of things that would have needed to be funded. I think it's important to realize, and I just need to take you back for a minute, when it comes to the tower ladder truck, one of the pivotal points in that was that we would cross-staff this vehicle. And just for, if everybody's not familiar with cross-staffing, because some of you were here, some of you were not at that time. And that's, and it's an improved method, although it's not the most efficient, but it's a Band-Aid. It's a means to an end until the growth can come, and then we can appropriately staff both trucks to decrease the wear and tear on such an expensive piece of apparatus, okay? So what that does is that essentially puts the fire truck and the tower truck in the same station, fully equipped, fully ready to roll, with one staff that will either take this truck or that truck, depending on the type of call. Commercial structure fire, God forbid, Kroger, they jump in the tower truck. Is that kind of, okay? Make sure we're all on the same page when it comes to that. We knew with that in year 4 of having that truck, this is on the record numerous times, that it would take 12 people to staff that vehicle. But we wanted to wait for the growth to come. And along with that, in year 4, if it was available, we would apply for a SAFER grant. A SAFER grant helps provide funding for additional firefighters to help communities. And it's on a decreasing amount over 3 years, giving you time to budget and properly fund, allowing for growth as well. So, under this new strategy, this plan, but before I get there real quick, I need to make everybody aware that regardless, and the reason this has become a presentation more is because there is a capital ask in this. And I think you would all agree, if there's a capital portion of this, that needs to go through the proper budgetary process, right? As we're going to be endeavoring on here very shortly. We're already deep into, but there'll be budget workshops and meetings. And that's where that asks, because it does involve a vehicle, okay? But what's important to realize is that regardless of whether you approve that capital purchase or not, we have not been, since I took over as fire chief in February of 20, properly staffed. We did have the 3 people 4 years ago that we lost that graciously we appreciate you guys a month ago gave us those additional people. That brings us back to 4 years ago. What we're, part of this presentation, meaning through the budgetary process, would be an additional 3 people. But whether you approve that vehicle or not, which I'll get into, it still doesn't negate the fact that we need the 3 extra people. I need to make that explicitly clear. Quick response vehicle or not, that I'll get into, it does not matter. But with that, we can certainly enhance the service, and I'm going to tell you how. So there's a positioning relief factor that needs to be taken into consideration. When you factor in 10 people per shift to run each shift, that factor is about 0.25 people per 1 person. That equates to 3 or somewhere between 2.5 and 2.75 people per shift. I can't hire a half or a 3/4, but I can hire a full person. So, in saying that, let me move on to the presentation here. Oh, okay. All right, I'm going to go over this very quickly because I'm sure all of you have read it and I don't want to bore anybody here. So what we're proposing here with this, matter of fact, I'm going to bring all of these up. So what we've proposed here with this new staffing strategy is rather than cross-staff these two vehicles out of the same station, we want to go ahead and right off the bat take those 3 people and we want to run the tower truck as the main unit, if you will. Give me a minute. Out of that station, we want to staff those 3 people on that tower truck. We would have needed to replace engine 9-4 this upcoming budget year. That's $1 million with equipment. It's probably closer, nearing 1.2 million. We're not going to replace that as part of the plan. Again, through the budgetary process, you will hear this is where the cost savings are going to come. We're going to forego ever replacing that fire engine. In return, we will take engine 9-6 that would have been cross-staffed. We're going to move that engine, which isn't due to be replaced for 5 years, and that will become the new engine 94. What happens to engine 94? We are going to make engine 94 our reserve apparatus. Fire trucks break down frequently. That'll be a reserve apparatus. 951, which is currently our reserve apparatus, has our biggest problems, and that will become our training fire engine. That could also be used and does help us with ISO by having 2 reserve fire engines. So we're never going to replace engine 94. Engine 96 becomes the new 94. We'll not have to replace it for 5 years. By the time we put in to replace that and the time it takes to get it, that truck will be nearing 12 years old, and typically it's a 10-year-old replacement. So we're saving money that way. In saying that, what do we do about not having so much wear and tear on that tower truck out of Station 3? The answer is a quick response vehicle. What does this quick response vehicle do for us? We have 3 vehicles, the tower truck, the engine downtown here, which I'll show you a map here momentarily, and of course the one off Cherry Valley Trail near Trilogy. They're all advanced life support fire trucks. Every bit of medicine capabilities, airways, cardiac monitors, same thing that's on an ambulance minus the stretcher is on every one of those trucks. But what we would do, if approved through the budgetary process, we would implement this quick response vehicle, which would be an enhanced level of service. We would now have 4 advanced life support units on the road protecting the city. But with those 3 additional people, could only do that approximately 40% of the time. I'd rather underestimate and over-deliver, but it would be 40% of the time. Now you ask, why only 40% of the time? Well, it would only be 40% of the time. Those 3 additional people that would be on shift, they have to cover sick time, they have to cover PTO, they have to cover FMLA, they have to cover workers' comp, they have to cover schooling. Just this afternoon, before coming here, 2 hours ago, I will have another employee who will be out almost 2 months on a medical leave. And since we asked for the overtime increase to cover the unscheduled overtime a month ago, I've had 2 more people go out with babies. 3 people on FMLA currently. In saying that, on our B shift, right now, only 1 person can be off. It causes overtime. After that, on C shift currently, I have 2 people off. Somebody wants a day off, it's instant overtime as we speak right now. Last year, it was $375,000 was our unscheduled overtime budget. Let me go to the next slide here. This year, even with the transfer a month ago, we've used $218,000. We're projected to use almost $340, and in speaking to finance, given the people we have out now, we're going to be pushing $400,000 in unscheduled overtime. By doing this, not only will we save not replacing a fire engine, we will save in unscheduled overtime. We will be able to cut that unscheduled overtime. Again, I want to underestimate and over-deliver to you by 50% or more, almost 200,000. When I get to the chart at the end, you'll see where I have 140. That's because, once again, we wanted to underestimate but over-deliver to you. I don't want to make promises I can't keep. I'm a taxpayer in this community also. If you ask the men and women of Groveland Fire Department, I'm the most penny-pinching person you will find in your lifetime, and I take it very seriously to be a good steward of the taxpayers' money. So, again, if you look at the chart above here, 13 firefighters per shift allow for 4 advanced life support units. Again, that's putting 1 additional unit 40% of the time, compared to the current 3 ALS units. The advantages to cross-staffing is, wear and tear is huge. These are expensive vehicles. Tires are expensive. I can tell you on the tower truck, if you run that as a frontline unit, my previous life, every couple of months we were replacing the rear dualies tires, taking the front dualies, moving them to the rear, and replacing the rears. One good reason for not running these vehicles as a primary medical unit. But it is a necessity to the community, and even ISO has confirmed that. And of course, having those 3 extra people, again, we think we can take a 25% reduction in overtime. We can take it to 50% or more. Now, here's something I think you'll appreciate, is not only is my deputy chief, but one of our lieutenants has really been trying to do their due diligence. These quick response vehicles are custom-made vehicles. It's a cab that is a commercial cab, although the box is a custom unit. These trucks run anywhere from $250,000 to $300,000. We did find one locally that we could have purchased for $196,000, although it was a demo unit with 600 miles. It was gone in 1 day. We lost it. But I'm glad we lost it, because I'll tell you, through the due diligence, my deputy chief, my lieutenant, we made contacts around the state, contacted North Collier Fire Department down in Naples, and we have the ability to get an even better unit for $100,000 less. And it's by buying the commercial truck and then taking a product that slides into the back of the truck that comes from Canada, and that's only about $18,000 in total with equipment. We'd be somewhere around $130,000 to $150,000 versus $250,000. So that's not reflected in this chart, because this is just information we just received. All right, so real quick, again, the deployment model would be Station 1 has our battalion chief, who is the shift commander, and there would be 4 people assigned to that station. Station 2, that's off Cherry Valley Trail, 3 people assigned to that engine. Station 3 would be the tower truck with the 3 people assigned. We would also run the quick response vehicle at such time, should you approve that through the budgetary process, and it would hold 1 paramedic and 1 EMT, fully staffed with all the advanced life support equipment that would be on any ambulance or any fire truck. And again, with those 3, we could do it 40% of the time. With the 3 you've already given us, we would be struggling to keep that up 20 to 25% of the time. All right, this is the vehicle I told you is a custom type vehicle, and what I mean by custom is the back portion of it is custom. The front is certainly a commercial. We would forego this. Here's the truck we're looking at now. Basically the same commercial truck itself, but that back unit has side doors for medical equipment, and it has a slide out rear that allows for other medical equipment, and of course these would be firefighters as well. It holds their air packs and bunker gear and things such as that. This is $100,000 less than the truck I just showed you in the previous picture. Okay, just real quick, if you're not familiar with all the stations, of course, the one down there on 50 is the Public Safety Complex. Station 2 is Cherry Valley Trail off Wilson Lake Parkway. And of course, you're all familiar where Station 3, I think Wednesday, we'll have the topping off party, as the contractor calls it, at Station 3. And you'll see that is progressing very well. And it would be Station 3 where the QRV, should it be approved to the budgetary process, would be located. All right. Okay. So, let me in a nutshell tell you what this slide means, because I want to be fully transparent, and I do not want to, in any way, shape, or form, have you think we're pulling the wool over anybody's eyes. When you see current budget year, $375,000, that is the cost of the 3 paramedic firefighters for an entire year. Now, we just wanted to reflect what that dollar amount would be, plus it's $1,000 per person for the physicals. They go through an extensive physical and workup that has to be a baseline that follows them through the rest of their career. And then the gear. The gear is inflated a slight bit because what we do is we purchase 2 sets of bunker gear for them, each employee, but given these are new employees, we buy one and we rent 1 set. The reason we do that, to be good stewards of the taxpayers' money, is we don't have to replace both sets of gear for all employees at the same time every year and have a big note that comes due. So we offset years to make that less of an impact budgetarily speaking. So if you take the 3 paramedic firefighters at $375, if we're starting to get applications now for the first 3 that you approved for us, we have about 12 applications. I guess a 12th one came in today so far. And we would be lucky if we could start those people mid-August. The more likely scenario would be September 1st. If we hired those people September 1st, you're looking at $31,250 for that month's salaries out of that $375 that it would be budgeted for that year. As you would with the $310,000 for the firefighter EMTs that you budgeted or that you approved a month ago, it would only be $26,000. On top of that would come the safety gear and physicals for all 6. Any questions? I want to really clear that up. Councilman?
Say that again?
Yes. So out of that $375,000 for these 3 paramedic firefighters, if you take $375 and divide it by 12, it comes out to be $31,250 a month. If we are able to get those folks on by September 1st, for these 3 people, it would be $31,250 loaded salary for that month. Okay? All right. Now, to be fully transparent, the rest of those funds, you could say, would roll over to year 27 because we would not be using those funds other than the 31. Now, if for some reason we were able to get them on early, let's say mid-August, that's a big ask. You wouldn't believe the extensive background checks we put these people through. It can take sometimes, Chief Thielen will tell you, 2 to 3 weeks. Our PD does a fantastic job doing background checks. I mean, they speak to their neighbors. They speak to whoever they got to get a hold of, former employers. We want to make sure that we're hiring people that are going to bring good credibility, good name, and stick to, our Groveland policies here. So if you were to carry that $375,000 out to year 28, 29, 30, and 31, to be full transparent, saving the money on the fire engine that we would not be purchasing, because that would have to go on the record this budget year, should you have approved that. Let me make sure, because I don't want to approve that. Should you have approved that, that's a $1.2 million savings. That would be, we would never replace that fire truck. We would only replace in 5 years from now engine 9.6, that would become engine 9.4. The personnel savings of only hiring the 3 you gave us a month ago and these 3 is only half. That's 6. That's half of the 12 that would have been needed in 5 years from now, assuming we did not get a SAFER grant. SAFER grants are not guaranteed. That's a $1.125 million savings. The brush truck, this is another thing. We had our brush truck evaluated by our mechanic. We have an outside company, emergency vehicle technician, who provides service in-house to our vehicles. Brush trucks are a unique thing. These are the wildland fire trucks. They look terrible. They get beat to heck driving through the woods and everything, and when their day is over, they've got about 10,000 miles on them. And you go, how is that even possible? Well, they're usually a train wreck by the time you got to get rid of them. This one overall is in, we think we can get a few more years of life out of it and only replace the skid unit in the back. And if you're not familiar with the skid unit, that would be the tank, the pump, the hose, the things on the back that carries the water and so on and so forth. We think we can do that for about $35,000, give or take. So here we're saving $190,000 over the course of the next 5 years. This is a truck that would have needed to be budgeted in 2027 as well. Again, whether you approve that or not is another issue. Let's go to the overtime savings. This is important. With the 3 individuals that you've already given us, this is something I had brought to your attention, that we believe we could cut this overtime by about 25, maybe 30%. With the additional 3 people, again, through the budgetary process, should you allow that, I believe we can in excess of 50%. Again, I want to underestimate and I want to over-deliver to you. We did this with the 3 people that we lost 4 years ago, and we cut that overtime budget substantially. We did this already. So I know that this is a low number. I believe that 140,000, I think we could increase that number. But we did carry the 140,000 all the way across. Now, getting back real quick to the 375, if you carried out to 2028, 29, 30, and 31, and then you carried that all the way down to that pretty little yellow line that says you'll save $2.5 million, you're really saving about $1.1 million if you carry those salaries out. That's still a lot of money, and that doesn't include the additional $300,000 or $400,000 in overtime savings that I'm confident will occur. So you're probably looking around 1.6 million savings over the next 5 years. And you're enhancing the level of service to the community. 40% of the time, we have another advanced life support unit on the road. That's all I have. I'm here at your disposal to answer any questions. I hope that wasn't confusing, but if I can clarify anything for you, please let me know.
Jacobs?
Sure. Chief Carroll, so basically each firefighter that you put on costs $31,000 a month?
No. So firefighter, paramedic, the 3 of them combined would be $31,250.
All 3 of them?
Loaded cost for all 3.
Thank you for correcting that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The $375,000 or $408,000 that we've authorized you for this year.
Well, you didn't authorize this one yet, but it was slightly less, Councilman, for the firefighter EMTs.
Right.
It was probably another 50,000 less, approximately. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Are you going to be able to use all those funds this year?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so if we gave you 3 more firefighters, we would still be using the funds that we authorized to begin with?
So if we, hypothetically, those 3 people would not start to the same thing just as if you had approved these today. Again, this is part of the bigger ask with the capital, the vehicle and everything. But those 3 people, we're just getting applications now. We have to hold interviews, background checks. We won't even spend the city's money to send them for a physical until we know they're going to pass a background check. We get quite a few of them that don't pass background checks. So why spend the money before? We want to make sure we're being, good stewards. This comes into the whole community livability and financial health, part of the strategic plan. This is important to us as well. So we want to be good stewards of those funds.
So based on that fact, we would not have to actually authorize any extra money this year to give you the extra 3 people.
So the 3 that you've already approved, if they came on September 1st, would cost $26,000 for those firefighter EMT salaries. These are the ones you've already approved.
Right.
Plus, I have to put them in gear. The gear is a little higher than normal because that's replacing buying 2 sets versus buying a set and renting a set. So it's a little bit less, but let's just call 26,000 plus 30 plus the 3. So you're looking at 33, just under $60,000 to bring on the 3 firefighter EMTs that would be used out of that approximate $325,000 you already approved for those 3 firefighter EMTs. We're not voting on this tonight, but should you have approved these three firefighter paramedics, because I can't on a QRV put 2 EMTs to make it advanced life support. If you would have approved these 3 at $375,000, it would be $31,250 for the month for those 3 individuals. Now, if I was able to bring them on a week or 2 earlier in August, well, then it would be half of the $31,000. You're looking at, 15,000 and change. Somebody can do
But we
the math.
still wouldn't.
You would not even come
We'd
close
still
to
not
using.
go with that.
That is correct. You would not come close to using the full amount of the money. Yes, sir.
And if we authorized you those 3 extra ones and you calculated in the overtime savings starting on 2027, what would that be?
We believe come October, starting fiscal year '27, that we would be able to save 50% of what was last year's amount, not what was budgeted. And I've said this again at many council meetings. For some reason, and this was a change that happened that I was not made aware of. I don't know how else to say it. But we used 375,000. I believe 225,000 is what was budgeted. We used 375. So far to date, today, let me just tell you where we are. We've spent $218,131 in unscheduled overtime as of today. With the amended budget of $322,700, they project that we would need $40,000 or more by the end of the year. Again, I have 2 people out, 1 beginning in the morning, will be gone for 2 months medical. It's instant overtime on C shift if even one person wants off right now. On C shift, if one person wants to take a day off, their exercise PTO, let me tell you why this is so important for these firefighters to have their time off. It's their mental health. This is a whole thing that's come down from the state about PTSD and first responder suicides for cops and police officers. It is imperative that they get their time off. And we're mandatorying people now. Now, it's only 14% of the time because we have a handful of people that like to pick up overtime. That's not the norm. Back in my day, I didn't like it so much. We have 5 people, but should those 5 people say tomorrow, I've had enough, that number's gonna jump up to about 40%. And this has happened a few years ago where every other shift, we didn't have enough paramedics. Every other shift, we had paramedics that were mandatory. You came to shift, you went home the next shift, you were mandatory. And we had people leave. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. And again, this is all about, too, firefighter health, safety, and PTSD. As we all know, it is being talked about at the state level. We are still waiting for a directive to come from the state about going to 24/72 shifts. That's something that hasn't happened yet. It's being strongly encouraged. It was passed in one of the House bills here. Can't remember what House bill it was, that cities and counties need to start looking at that. I can tell you, Pasco County, I can tell you, there's a whole slew of cities around the state.
Can we bring this back to the overtime?
Yes, sir.
Okay. They got a bet going on about something, so I don't want to be the person that,
you got a bet.
that
Okay.
wrecks it.
Go ahead.
So based on bringing these 3 new people in, can you say that you would be doubling that 140,000 to 280,000 a year savings in overtime?
Yeah, Councilman, I would rather underestimate and, as we say, over-deliver.
So say 250.
I think 200 to maybe even 215,000 we could reduce, not based off the 225. I'm talking about the 375 and nearly 400,000 we're going to be at this year. So let's say we could cut that by 50%. I think that's a big win if we're able to do that.
Okay,
And
so
we're
not only do
people.
you don't need any extra money to bring these people on, because we've already authorized the money for that would work for this year. Starting immediately in '27, you'd be increasing the savings from the overtime.
Again, that's not the S tonight because this is just a presentation, but
Right.
if hypothetically, if we had all 6, then your overtime savings would begin the beginning of the year, the new fiscal year.
Right.
Yes.
So there'd be more savings.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good answer. Okay, I think we have enough to go on.
Thank you. Amy Jo?
Yeah. So I mean, you're increasing our levels of service while saving us money. I love this idea. I think it's great. It says on the agenda that we can consider for approval, so I think we can vote on it if we wanted to bring on the 3 additional firefighters. Obviously, we can't vote on the QRV vehicle. But I think it's really important to note that our firefighters do need their time off. Do you know what the rate of heart attacks for firefighters, like the rate they pass away from them? It's really high, though, correct?
I can tell you, I'm one of the few that are still around that I started with, and and it's very sad to say. Just since I've been here, 6 of my friends have
And that's
passed away.
because of all the adrenaline dump and constantly difficult situations, suicides, heart attacks. These guys need their time off. We're interfering with quality of life. So if we want to keep our firefighters, we have to treat them well, because otherwise we become an incubator for other cities. We have people come on, they stay for a couple months, get a little bit of experience, and they jump ship. It's also one of those jobs where you can't just be like, oh, well, Bob didn't come in today, so we only have 2 people in the truck. You can't just cut spots. You have to have people there. I think all of these things are just really important to remember. So, I mean, I'm all for all of it. I trust our subject matter expert to tell us what we need, and you've proven to be a good steward of our money, so I'm on board.
Okay, Stephen?
I know we've talked several times, and I also like to play devil's advocate with it, so you've been very helpful in that, going back and forth. But this is a profession, and I'm learning too, being on council. You know, I come from a profession where I've left some positions open at my work, and it actually saves us money because we're not filling that role and we're not spending that money. For you guys, if you leave a role open, we're still paying for it. We're paying for it through unscheduled overtime and mandatory overtime. And it does affect people's lives. You know, I have an incoming brother-in-law who works for Gainesville Fire, and we have these huge family events, and then all of a sudden he has mandatory overtime. I'm like, how do you have mandatory? Just tell them no. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. It's mandatory. So I do want to be very cautious of our firefighters and their mental health, but also their families that are looking to them to come to big family events, and then you have to go to them and say, hey, sorry, you know, we have to do mandatory overtime. And I did see that this is consideration for approval, so I'm totally fine with making a motion at the end once everyone had their.
And Councilman, just to make sure, as in speaking with the mayor and also Mr. Maslow, it was really I mean, you guys, I don't want to get in the middle of an argument with you folks. This was to give a presentation to tell you what could be and through the budgetary process. But I'm going to leave it to you folks to decide what you do from here. But I wanted you to have the information. I think it's important to have that, you know, that information so you can make your informed decision.
And I do think for the truck that we certainly can push that off a little bit. But I have a personal story. You know, my wife called 911 a few months back, and it was nothing to do with a fire, and we had the fire truck come. And she's like, yeah, they sent the fire truck. I was like, well, Samantha, how do you think they could get to you? But when you think about that, you think about that I live in Sunrise Ridge. We have cars parked on both sides of the streets. So it's also the wear and tear of those vehicles, those fire trucks that are going up and down for calls that are nowhere near fire related. So if we can get a pickup truck to go, and then we don't have to, you know, send our $1 million truck driving around the city, even if it's 40% of the time, I think it's a huge win. So that's my comments.
And yes, and I just need to make it clear, just for the council and for the audience, all fire departments, regardless of the municipality, the way the system was designed and engineered to function is the fire trucks are the first response ALS. We're expected, it was in the pudding, it was baked into the hollandaise sauce, that the fire trucks are expected because there's only so many ambulances throughout the county, that the fire trucks would get there first, their advanced life support. Everything's done to the patient. If the patient's in cardiac arrest, God forbid, the patient's got an airway, the patient's got an IV, the patient's had all their medications, CPR's in progress. When we're transferring the patient over, and whether we have to go with them and follow them in is a different story. But it's like that on every call. Now, sometimes we're blessed in Groveland, and our citizens here should understand it. We are blessed to have 2 of our fire stations. Through good communication, good working relationship with the county, we have an ambulance that's here full-time, and we have one that's part-time, half-time over at Station 2. Now, you have to understand, when ambulances start moving around and they come in service from South Lake Hospital, and that ambulance that's here gets sent to Leesburg or whatever, it's in a rotation, but they're here more than they would have been, but we're still expected. Most of the time, they're seconds or minutes behind us. Rarely is there an extended period of time, and if there is, we address that immediately. and find out why.
And Chief, when you guys reached out to like Collier County, were there any complaints, praise? What was the response for the vehicle that they're using?
Chief, they have 3? How many? They have 3 of them. They absolutely love them. Matter of fact, you'll see the other type of vehicle that I showed you, a lot of road debris and dirt with the roll-up doors gets in there. With these, they're finding that they're drier, they're less, it protects the equipment. So overall, it's a less expensive and what we believe to be a better product. Thank goodness to Chief Thiemann and some of our folks in the field that are taking this seriously. They know what I expect when it comes, and they're doing their due diligence to help save taxpayers' money also. And I don't say that lightly. I know that sounds kind of cliche. Oh, we're saving. I sincerely mean this.
Thank you. That's all I had, Mayor.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
To the city council audience that is here and those out in TV land, I would like to make a statement. I've been on the council since 2020. There was a statement made earlier that we need to treat our firefighters well. I know that I know that I know since 2020, the firefighters have been treated very well, and I defy anyone to say otherwise.
And Vice Mayor, I would agree completely. I think the city has treated from myself down exceptionally well, and we're grateful for that. No doubt about it. I agree with you.
So I don't want anybody out there to think that we haven't been doing it, because if you listen, it could be construed in that way. But I know since 2020, all has been well with the fire department. Thank you.
Agreed. Yes, ma'am.
Done.
Well, I appreciate the hard work on this, and I appreciate the explanations and taking me by the hand and walking me through this before.
Yes, sir.
I agree that this should be a presentation, because I think we have to take this as part of the whole. I would be glad to talk about the 3 firefighters without the rest of the stuff, because that's capital. There's 2 different things.
Yes, sir.
But I'd also like to make sure that our figures are correct. For instance, does the gear last for the next 5 years? You have to replace gear?
I'm sorry, sir.
Do you have to replace gear on any of these firefighters that you're hiring over the next 5 years?
Do we have to replace the gear that we have in the initial year?
This is
for the
when we get
following
back
years?
together, this is what I want to know.
Yes, sir. That's factored into our budget each year. We have a certain percentage of gear that, first of all, gear goes out every year. By law, it has to be sent out and inspected. You can have a set of gear that's supposed to last 10 years, that's 3 years old, and it's no good anymore. But yes, the gear that reaches that 10, we budget each year a little at a time to replace that gear.
Yeah, I'd just like to have that amortized over, because right now it says nothing after the first 30, and it drops to the savings. And then we have physicals. Do we do more?
Well, it would be 10 years before it would need to be replaced, that gear.
You amortize it over the 5
Oh, okay.
years,
Oh, yes,
or
sir.
half of that. And then the physicals, we only do one every 5 years?
No, sir. The main physical is a little more extensive than the normal annual physicals, and right now it's about half the cost for those annual physicals.
It's fine. I'm just saying, let's get the figures straight, because you've got all those going in there. Now, I'd like to really get some clarification, Mr. City Manager, on the $1.2 million fire truck, because I don't know that I've researched it. I don't know where it was voted on, where it was voted in, where because we said that when we would do this, we would start reserving funds, then it would be a savings. Now there's no funds reserved, so everything else is an expense.
If I may, sir, that has not been approved. That's something that would, through the budgetary process, the capital plan would come before you this year.
I get it, but what I'm saying is, if that was really, it's not a savings, because nothing's been approved and we haven't been reserving for it, as we did the last truck, so there's no money in a pot over here that we're saving from. So everything is an expense, and that's fine. We just need to take it on as an expense, not what the savings is. And then I'd like to see the whole, this is one chapter of the whole book, right? I'm sure we have FF&E on the new fire. We've got a lot of stuff that has to go in this budget. I think you get a 10% increase on fire assessment this year, is that right?
I don't believe it'd be 10%. You can't go above 5 if my,
Is it
if I'm,
5?
if, you could not go above 5.
So we
yeah.
have that, and we have that matching fund, and let's see how much we got, and what we can do. The brush truck that's on here is a new one, and it will last for 10 years, right?
Or more, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Well, hold on a minute. We're not purchasing that brush truck. We're only going to replace the skid unit. So instead of 100, we're going to save 190,000. I know you say, Mr. Mayor, that none of this stuff has been approved. What was presented to you is the response strategy moving forward. Should you approve it, these are the cost savings that could occur in the total package if you approved everything. So,
But my point is, it's theoretical against theoretical, right?
well, the whole thing's theoretical.
Right. So we just need to know what the expense is at the end and flesh it out. And it is what it is at the end. But I really do appreciate the hard work on it and your approach to this, and look forward to see it in the overall package so we know exactly what we have and where we're going.
Mr. Mayor, can we go for a consent to direct the manager to come back to us with the information you just requested in a more formal manner?
I think we're supposed to be right now in budget season and starting to review this stuff now, according to the calendar, right? I have that on my list to ask, but this would be part of that overall package that we need to take a look at for the budget approval.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, especially with the vehicles, we're planning to look at CIP as part of a council budget workshop in July. So we'd be happy to bring the information back prior to that, just so you have some time to digest it, and then make decisions in terms of that 5-year capital improvement plan next month.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd like to see us separate out the 3 firefighters. That's not
Happy to do that.
capital.
That's more
not part of
operational.
it. That's
Correct.
operational. That's an issue of health and well-being. And it's different than another brush truck or how we're doing all that. The capital can be done in a different way, but I think what you're saying is we bring the extra 3 people in, and no matter what, we're going to lower our cost, correct?
Regardless of whether you go with the QRV or not, it's,
Yeah,
yes.
and have happier firefighters. So that's a
We're happy to
no-brainer.
provide the analysis too with vehicles and capital aside, just so you can look at operational. And we could come back too with this combined effort, but just bringing a little bit more resolution to the forecast.
Mayor, I think it's important to realize, again, yes, you're exactly correct what you just said, but without the quick response vehicle, you're not reducing the wear and tear on these vehicles that I know is a concern to multiple council people that I spoke with. So granted, I understand that's part of the capital and the budget process moving forward, but it's still a huge factor in this whole thing.
Yeah, and I get it, and I'd just like to see it. I mean, we knew when the budget was and when, we're not going to just.
Yeah, because if not, we would have to leave engine
190 grand
96 at the station and continue to cross-staff, which changes the whole response strategy, which doesn't save anything over 5 years.
Okay. So do we need a consensus to have?
Well, I would just I'm comfortable making a motion. So I'm comfortable waiting on all of the equipment, but I would move to approve the 3 additional firefighters and paramedics. And I may not have the votes.
Would second that.
And then I'm fine with waiting on all of the other things for the next budget.
'Cause if we wait to hire them until, like, say we authorize you in September at budget time, so by September 30th, to hire 3 additional firefighters, when would be the earliest they could start working?
So you authorized 3 a month ago. We've just now got our 12th application today. It's customary to interview about 4 people for every 1 position. We're really at enough now to interview for those 3. If that occurs, it would take a month, so it would be, let's say, November. We would hold the interviews in November. Then we have to do background checks, which would take, for 3 people, would take at least 2 to 3 weeks. And then we have to onboard them. We have their physicals and everything. Realistically, you're not going to see any overtime savings until closer to January. And that's assuming we get everybody. The first quarter of the year, there'd be no overtime savings, essentially, from these 3. Does
Yeah,
that
I'm
answer
good
your
moving.
question?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm good moving on those now.
Mr. Mayor, I agree with you as far as all the other incidentals that they need to work this out. They need to bring all that information to us. But just the sheer fact that bringing on the extra 3 right now is not even going to use the money that we already gave them for this year. So, and it's not like we were going to ever say no to those when they came into the budget, during the budget thing. So I think we could follow through with Steve's motion just to put the extra 3 on, knowing how long it's going to take to get them actually in the field.
And do a consensus on bringing everything else back.
Right.
Yeah.
Discussion? Seeing none?
Would you repeat the consensus, please?
So the motion was to hire the 3 additional firefighters and then waiting on the other items that we talked about. The consensus was to then bring back the proposal for the additional truck and everything else that we talked about. This would just be for the firefighters.
And when they bring that back, that would be in the normal budget process.
During the normal budget process.
I have a comment, and I want us all to look each other in the eye. You all got our debt statement. You all got the debt statement. It's up to, help me out, is it 100 and, we added 12, so it's $110 million now with 9,500 houses, with another 119 that we need to come up for an enterprise. 39 of that is us. The rest is the rest of that money comes from the enterprise system over there. But we need to see what the overall revenue is. I'm saying, and I don't think 2 weeks is going to make a doggone bit of difference, but I'd like to see the real numbers on how it impacts the overall. There's a revenue stream coming in, of which is 50% of, is it 50%, 49, 50? By law, your assessment can only be a certain amount of the overall percentage.
Currently, it's about 50%. I think
50%.
the last time we first did it was about 49%, but
Yeah, something around
it
50.
fluctuates.
So just like to see all that together, and we have to start looking at it because you've heard the property tax issue, you've heard all this other stuff, and when it comes down to it, you've got to pay your debt, and if we have to start cutting costs, it's going to be staff. That's the only place you can cut. So, because that's your controllable expenses. So I would really like to see, we've got a fixed revenue stream coming in, we match it. Let's see what that overall is. You have FF&E for, and I haven't seen that figure. I hear it's quite big for the thing out there. You got another $1 million a year, right? Payment, $900,000 on the new fire station. We got all this stuff. And I want to be compassionate, but I want to be compassionate with reality. Because I don't want to approve something today that we won't be able to keep going with.
And Mayor, FF&E is part of that, the funding for the building. There's a certain amount that's in there.
What's the building cost now?
The total?
What's the building cost now? It's not 9 million. What is it?
9.9, sir.
That's where it is right now? That's
It
different
was
than...
9.8 and change, yes.
Okay, well, that's our total cost for that building as move-in right now.
Correct. We have a small contingency that is built in there that,
Okay.
some things.
Well, 9.9 and 900,000, what is it, 900,000 a year payment? So, I mean, we need to see the overall package. And we might have to say, well, we need to not do this as far as a truck so we can have more firefighters, or we might need more trucks and less, but we need to start taking a look at this because it's tight. It's going to be tight this year. It's going to be tight this year.
I want to propose this, Mr. Mayor, just as an idea. I think what you're trying to do is measure twice, cut once, and we do have the option of June 24th is our next budget workshop with council. We plan to only discuss utilities. We could add fire operations and go over that item, then provide you a little bit more detail, so you all are more comfortable prior to your vote.
I don't even have to wait that long. All you have to do is get the figures out to us to see what the final, that chapter of the whole book is. That's all. We need to see the whole thing. in my opinion. That's just my opinion, and we can vote on
I'm
passing this whole thing, but we've got to make sure we know what we've got and what we can do.
We're happy to put that together.
And I'm comfortable with the motion, and I totally get where you're coming from. That's why I excluded all of the other items from it. But these are real costs. We're going to have to pay the overtime, so we have to start looking ahead of time and saying, can we get better next year? And this will put us in a much better spot next year than we are this year. So I'm comfortable with the motion.
I'm willing to wait 2 weeks for you, Mayor, and get all the information in front of us before we make the decision. 2 weeks is not going to make a big deal
Yeah,
about this.
and even on the 18th, we have a workshop. We don't
Right.
have to wait till the 28th. I think if we get the stuff in front of us, I mean, we'll be ready to go at the next meeting, but let's just make sure we've got the right figures.
You could aim for the 18th, you just can't take a vote, just so that you're aware that you would be taking a vote at the earliest in your July council meeting.
Yeah, I'm still comfortable with my motion. Are you still comfortable with your second?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm sure there's maybe public comment, but I'm comfortable voting.
I just look at it, if we're looking at a place where we're going to have to cut staff and cut costs, I don't think the fire department or the police department or anything in public safety is where you start doing that, where lives are genuinely affected. Like I always say, an emergency, most other departments don't have emergencies because an emergency means somebody might die. So those are the only departments that actually cover emergencies in general.
Sure, but there's-
I don't think that's where we start even considering cutting.
93% of our ad valorem, when you add in capital, is safety. So we're well beyond, committed to safety. But there's other avenues that we may need to want to check into because we can't keep going up this way. And unless the public says, let's go ahead and take another 3 or 4, we only get $250,000 per tenth of a mil, right? So to cover a fire truck, is instead of a tenth, it's a half a mil. So I just want us to realize what is going. And I think we've gotten ourselves into a situation, and I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody, by taking these snapshots and not understanding it's not the splash, it's the ripples that kill you down the road. And how we can look at where we are right now, in my opinion, and with 39 million, and sure we get 12 of it back, hopefully from the county, but that's a tremendous amount of burden on this city, and we need to start looking at the overall package. And I'm glad to hear that fire station is only 9.8, because I heard it was a couple mil higher by the finished thing, but we'll go ahead and, but that's why we need to have it on paper. That's why we need to see it, in my opinion. So if 2 weeks will make the difference, we'll go at it we'll just take the vote.
One thing to confirm what the mayor said about the 93% of our income we're using on public safety, the national average is 50%. And Chief, I remember the conversation we first had about the quick response vehicle back in December
Yes, sir.
of 2025, and I am glad it only took you 5 short months to come around to the idea.
This was actually something with not taking them off the fire truck, sir, but yes, your point was very well taken, and this is something for 2 years we've been considering, but just not taking them off the fire truck. But your point was extremely valid, and we appreciate the input. Before I make any comments, do they have to clear up their motion or what?
We're going to have public comment.
Oh, public comment, okay.
But I think his point is making sure that the motion is clear so that once the vote is done, people know what the outcome is, what's being voted for or against. So I do think, Stephen, if you could please just
Yeah, the
repeat
motion
your
is
motion, so
simply-
we have it for the record, everyone knows what they're voting for and against.
The motion is simply to authorize the hiring of 3 additional firefighters.
Okay, we open it for public discussion now. We've had discussion at the board. Let's move
There are
forward.
no public comments. Are you ready for the motion?
Yes.
Okay. Councilmember Sokoski, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
Aye.
Councilmember Jay Cox?
Nay.
Vice Mayor Gaines?
Nay.
Mayor Kehoe?
Nay. We'll see it in 2 weeks.
May I just ask a question? I want to be very specific about what you're looking for us to bring back, because I want to make sure I bring that back, because it can't just be, physicals are easy to tell you. Is there very specific things that we can bring back that would satisfy the council?
Yes, the numbers, your overall budget, where you are now, what your income is, how we're going to pay for it. That's all. I just want to see how we're going to pay for it. And if we can, out of our current funding that we have for the fire department. That's all.
Okay.
You know, if we'd already funded a 1.2 million, it would be a different story. We haven't. So all the savings against the 1.2 million is a theory against theory. So we need to make sure. I'm not against this. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
You doing the cost
No, I want to
savings
get you
and all this. but
information you want.
I want to see where the money's coming from, how much it really is, how it fits in your overall budget, to see how we do it. And then we can vote on it. I just want to know how we're going to do it.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yep.
And we'll get with the city manager on that, and if you'd like to sit down, if he like me and you, all three of us sit down, we'd be fine, and
Yes, sir.
finance, I don't care.
Okay.
But this is just one snapshot, and there's things in there like that we said that over 5 years, you should be amortizing over the 5 years, because you have that in there on the savings. Let's just get a true picture, that's all.
Do that. Okay. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Okay, on to public comment.
Banks, Helfrich.
I am Farmer Banks Helfrich. I live in the Clay Road District. Farm tip of the day. Watermelons are in season and ready to be harvested. Here is a super cool hack on when to harvest them. The main vine, which comes from the plant, will go to a vine that goes to the fruit. Where they intersect, there is a curlicue. And when that curlicue becomes brown all the way back to the main vine, the watermelon is ready to be harvested. Mayor, council, distinguished guests, is America morally and ethically bankrupt? Have we found ourselves in a transactional society where everything is done for the self-interest rather than communal interest? There's an old adage, and it goes like this. You never see a hearse pulling a U-Haul trailer. You can't take it with you. In fact, if you ask any hospice nurse what the reoccurring theme on our deathbed is, it's, I wish I would have worked less. I wish I would have spent more time with my family and friends. I wish I was more compassionate and kind. 20 college students were given $10 each. 10 of them were told to go spend it on themselves. 10 of them were told to go spend it on someone else. Those who spent it on themselves came back and their happiness stayed the same. It was flatlined. Those who spent it on someone else increased. This is a pure sign that we can increase joy by helping others. During World War II, Oskar Schindler, an Austrian factory owner, saved over 1,400 Jewish people. At the end of the war, they all came together and they thanked him for saving their lives. The one thing he did was he broke down in front of his car and he kicked it. And he said, I wish I would have saved 20 more of you because I do not need this car. I leave you with one question, and that is, if we are not here to serve others, why are we? I am Farmer Banks Helfrich. May you all be blessed. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you.
Chris Walker.
Chris Walker, 304 Irvin Bend Drive. Just wanted to make a few comments. Number one, I want to commend Chief Carroll for his presentation. I think if all of your department heads spent that kind of time to lay out in writing what is going on with their department, we wouldn't be $100 million in debt. So perhaps we should learn from that tonight at least, of directing your department heads and really giving you a presentation that says what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, and how is it going to affect the city of Groveland and the taxpayers. Because a lot of them don't do it, which is why we're in this mess, and your last administration and your last city manager put us in it. So I want to commend at least this council for trying to fix what has happened. With that being said, I do agree with the mayor that we don't ever need to rush any decisions when it comes to the finances of the taxpayers. It's easy to make decisions when it's not your money coming out of your pocket, per se. And so we need to take our time. We need to make sure that the numbers are lining up and that we're making a good decision, because we all know we need police and fire. We need that. I mean, that's not an argument. We need police and fire. We need safety first. But we also need the money, okay? There's things that we all have that we need at our house, that we need with our families, and we have to sit down and put all the cards on the table and make a decision about what's more important than the other. We got to triage things. And so that's where we are. We can't keep stacking more debt on top of the debt that we already have gotten. And how do we get most of this debt? High-priced salaries, high-priced city manager, high-priced COOs, high-priced city attorneys, high-priced people who did what? After they've left their positions, we're now seeing what wreckage that they left us. Because why? No one was checking. No one was checking the hen house, and all the eggs were leaving out, and nobody was checking it. So I'm a proponent of checking and waiting. There's no need to rush. And I know we have people that want to rush and they just want to get things done. But guys, remember, you're elected to make sure that we all live in an environment that is going to be conducive to progress and growth. We can't be the city of natural charm if everything we're doing is to do harm. We have to make sure we check the budget. So cut some of these salaries. Get the right people in based upon the city population, and let's stop giving away all these salaries like candy. Also, I want to just commend the mayor, for what you're doing. A lot of people won't see what you are trying to do until you're gone. There's an old saying that says you don't miss the water till the well runs dry. And that's what's going to happen. Mark my word. I stood at this podium years ago, and I said that when the wicked are in rule, the people are in mourning, and when the righteous are in rule, the people rejoice. That's the scripture, by the way. And what we're seeing right now, you've got to take all the shots, you've got to take all of the cuts so that the rest of us in the city can be healthy. Unfortunately, that's what we're looking at. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all, Mayor.
All right, moving on to council member reports. Let's go, Amy Jo.
All right. So first, I wanted to start and see, I had a thought. So I wanted to get council's opinion on it. I know we did the operational assessment on the finance department. I was wondering how you all would feel about doing the operational audit on that department, so maybe we can see the difference, because maybe that would help us feel better about the amount of money that's going to cost, because maybe we would get more out of that. But since we have it already for the one, it made sense to me to just do that department so we can compare and contrast and see what we're getting. So I wanted to throw that out there and see how everybody felt about that. So think about it. Where else did I write? Oh, and then I want to go through some wins for our city again this week. So HR completed new hire orientation for a new firefighter and provided audit documentation to get that moving along. IT worked on their project management software that is being finalized and will be rolled out soon. Communications, which that project management software is going to give all of us access to look at each project, what it is, how much they've spent, so we can see in real time where everything is and who's working on it. Communications hosted my District 5 huddle. That was last Thursday. Community Development briefed the CRA board on the status of South Lake Avenue Streetscape and Stormwater Project, and that project should begin on June 6th after several delays. Parks and Rec, South Lake Regional Park had their grand opening, and there was an estimated 3,000 people in attendance there. Finance, the audit is now 99% complete, so thank you to Michelle, Aaron, April, and the entire finance team for staying on top of that and getting that near completion by June 1st. That definitely keeps us on track to finish by June 30th. City Clerk, they did 71 lien searches and 29 public records requests. Transportation and Public Works has reached the midway point on the Sampe Wastewater Treatment Facility upgrade and expansion. That's a huge project that is now midway. The police, all sworn officers completed their 12-hour rigorous pistol training and successfully transitioned to the new 9mm pistols. Fire Chief Carroll was invited to and spoke at the Black Cemetery Network Conference at USF St. Pete and made great new contacts and is now consulting a little bit on some other projects. People are asking him for advice after he completed the Black Cemetery here. And our interim city manager is continuing to work on aligning our city priorities with the strategic plan. And I just want to say, Tim, thank you. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jaycox?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a little presentation to do, but before I do that, I would like to remind the city manager that you were supposed to bring a reworked package for the dispatchers to the council. I believe that was a couple of weeks ago, at least 2 meetings ago. Could you please make sure that
Still in
happens?
development, but we'll come back. We'll look at adding that to the next meeting agenda.
Okay, thank you very much. I had the absolute pleasure of being with the mayor and the vice mayor at South Lake Park and watching the mayor throw out the first pitch. It brought me back to the day that I was there the first time with my little league and doing that and standing on that field. But these guys had it better than I did. These guys had 4 major leaguers to walk past and give high fives to before they started. It was a thing to see. It was really a great thing to see. And we should be very proud of Groveland that we have such a facility in our neighborhood. The Tolva had a memorial ceremony for Memorial Day, and the mayor and the vice mayor and I was in attendance. And I believe there wasn't a dry eye in the place after the commander gave his speech. And very, very passionate speech. I thank everybody for coming and showing up there. Myself and Mr. Keith Breedlove, who's in the audience, represented Tolva and went to the Oak Tree Cemetery and instructed the Scouts of America to place the flags at the Oak Tree and also at the Greenwood, and it turned out very well. Thank you. Now to what we have on the screen. The mayor has been talking a lot about how we don't know how we're doing because we don't have information from the people. So this is a presentation about getting information from the people every time they touch a Groveland service. We want to ask them, how was that service? How can we do it better? So this is the Groveland Residential Experience and Service Excellence Initiative. It's a healthcare-inspired customer service program for Groveland. The executive summary. The city of Groveland seeks to become one of Florida's most resident-focused municipalities in implementing a resident experience service excellence initiative, modeled after proven healthcare patient satisfaction systems. The initiative will establish conditional feedback system that will capture residents' experiences across all the city services. Measure satisfaction, identify service gaps, and drive operational improvements through data-driven decision-making. The strategic objective is to improve overall satisfaction by 20% within the first 3 years, increase resident engagement with the city services, reduce service complaints through proactive issue resolution, improve transparency and accountability, establish Groveland as the model for resident-central governance. Statement of the problem. As Groveland continues to grow, residents expect quality service, responsiveness, transparency to continue to increase. Current challenges include limited real-time resident feedback, inconsistent satisfaction measurements, delay in identification of service issues, and difficulty prioritizing improvements based on residents' needs. Proposed solution: implement a resident experience service excellence program, RECEP, to capture residential feedback, measure the satisfaction, identify the trends, and respond to concerns, and use residential input to guide operational improvements and budget decisions. The components of the program: residential experience office, resident feedback system, resident satisfaction score, resident journey mapping, resident advisory council, closed loop response process, and public transparency dashboard. Now, basically, with this type of information, the council will know very, very quickly where we're deficient, where we're doing well, and what we need to improve. And we won't be going around saying, we don't know, we don't know, we don't know, we don't have any metrics on this. This program will get us those answers. So I'd like to, have the council go over the handout I gave them and come back during the workshop and improve on this idea and move forward so we can get this implemented, so we will know how to service the residents of Groveland better. I'd also like to bring something else up. As the mayor says, we need to know the numbers first before we can do anything. Well, in October, there's supposed to be a 10% increase in the water rates. But we already know the numbers for 2025. We already know that according to the projected study, we were supposed to have a $1.7 million utility fund surplus for the year 2025. The actual result, per the city's own budget report for the Fund 400, was $3.2 million. So that is an 18% increase in the projected surplus that they were supposed to have, $505,000. So what I'm saying is that we have the numbers now. We should eliminate that 10% increase in October, because that would be on top of the 18% that they already got extra that they didn't account for. So right now they were supposed to get a 20% increase. That 2.7 was supposed to be 20% of what the bill was, and that was to give a fund for the city to work on projects, to fix things, to upgrade things. They got 18% more. They got $505,000 more. We need to give back to the people. We need to cancel that October 10% increase. We have the numbers. We don't need to wait for a new study, which I don't think will be around prior to this increase. So I would like the council to think about that and come back to the workshop and we'll discuss it some more. But I'd really like to bring this to a resolution in front of everybody to cancel that extra 10%, because we already have the numbers that we got extra money, 18%, $505,000. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Stephen.
I have some comments based on Tim's comments, so I'll wait for that, but nothing else.
Tim's comments?
Yeah, he sent over some stuff he's going to go over, and I have some comments on that, but I don't have any council member comments.
Okay, Barbara?
Since the last council meeting, I attended the Employees Appreciation Lunch. the grand opening of the South Lake Regional Park. JETS, Justice Electronic Training Services, is a small business that has opened up here in Groveland, widely known for their precision when it comes to the welding or soldering for aerospace companies, businesses, and et cetera. They had a ribbon opening. And I would like to invite everybody, if they haven't been there, to go there. They were very set in the beginning for opening this small business right here in the city of Groveland. And I say, let's support our small businesses. Additionally, I attended the local Veteran Service breakfast that was held here. Later that day, I also went to the Tova Memorial celebration. I attended the District 5 huddle. And last but not least, Mitchell's Ice Cream had their second anniversary. Again, another small business. And I just ask that you all consider, that you all consider patronizing these small businesses. You may or may not know that the liquor land, and no, I'm not supporting liquor. I'm just telling you that when businesses come to town, we need to support them. It's economic development. We need that here in Groveland. Economic development will help bring in and encourage other small businesses to come here and will help the economy for the city of Groveland. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. I just will reiterate most of the things that have already been said. A lot of great programs in the last 2 weeks. We did have a memorial breakfast here for our veterans. We had about 60 veterans attend with their families, and it was quite a morning. The flag placement was great. I think next year we should, Mr. City Manager, look at going back and making that an event like we did last year, because you could definitely see two demographics. Our old veterans came to the breakfast because they didn't like the heat. The young kids, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, all those, the younger people went to the flag and didn't come to the breakfast. So I think there's a chance to expose more people to that event. I did ask 3 meetings ago let's come up with a presentation on our debt and our debt service. I'd like to see that. I think the public needs to see it. I think it needs to be presented in a positive way, but we need to see where we are as well as the revenue side. People, I think when we understand 16 million comes in and 36 goes out, and we've got to find that other places, they'll realize how hard our staff works every year to make up that delta between what we spend and what we take in, and I think that would be a very good way to present it. I did have a question to ask. I got a note that our Wayfair signs are coming in, but they've got a brick veneer on them, and I'm trying to find the original. I remember what it looked like, but was that always a veneer for an outside Wayfair sign, a brick, or was it supposed to be brick?
It's supposed to be brick. I'd have to double check.
Check it, because what came out was a veneer, and I really worry about.
Plastic brick over?
Huh?
Like a plastic brick over?
I don't know what the veneer is, but I just know out in the sun in Florida, if you put a veneer on something, there's going to be some problems.
Mr. Mayor, can you specify the sign again that you saw that was plastic or non-brick?
Can I specify what?
Which sign it was?
The Wayfair signs. It said the Wayfair signs. The veneer is in, and they're starting to remember. And I remember the pictures of them from CRA. Mm-hmm. Remember that it looked like brick.
Right. It's supposed to be brick.
And when I read that, I said, "Man, I'm just worried. I don't know. Sometimes we try to save costs, but boy, veneer doesn't hold up in Florida. And
I agree. It's also not natural.
If you could take a look, it just came out like yesterday or today, and I circled it and wanted to
I'll look
bring
at that
it.
with staff. Thank you.
Also, I thought in May we were going to do a review of the utility budget because it was never done for the year. What's going on with the utility budget?
That's at the June 24th budget workshop with council.
Okay. Okay, streetscape, when we do on July 6th, is that what you said? July 6th, we start the Lake Avenue. Remember we talked a while back about having the signs out coming soon and all that, and we'll have July 4th people here. And if we can have that out, it would be great for the July 4th. Also, if there is anything that we can put online for the detours that are going to have to take place, because I know these are residents will know, but all the people that cut through here in the morning to bypass, they're going to have to know you can't do that anymore. It's not going to be available to them. And then AI, we had a little trip over to Altamont Springs, which was excellent. They're very progressive in the use of technology and how it increases service. They took a long time with us, more than they probably wished. But I'd like to find out what the directors came back to you with about anything that's of interest of what they're doing. And I know the one thing that was getting the group together on purchasing, the different cities together as one conglomerate for purchasing was collaborative approach was something that, again, that could help us out on our costs. But that AI presentation, I would hope, and I've sent a note to Frank, I would hope that the council could go see that same presentation and talk with those people so we're all on the same page about a different way, not one's better than the other, but just exposing all of us to a different way of an approach to the business aspect of municipal government. So with that, I'll hand it over to you, Mr. City Manager.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I emailed my report out earlier today. I'm just going to touch some high notes. First of all, thank you to the Mayor Keough for orchestrating that site visit to City of Altamont. They're a very dense but innovative city. A lot of improvements around the Crane Roost area. Their city manager's been there, I think, 16, 17 years. Has developed a very innovative reputation in the area, and we got the pleasure to meet with their senior staff, anywhere from transportation and public works, utilities, police department, HR, really every department. Each of them had at least one innovative strategy. Just that alone, in terms of how to provide better services at a lower cost to our taxpayers, looking at different technologies, especially through the AI revolution, definitely has sparked a level of inspiration here with our senior staff, so we're still sharing ideas. One of them specifically is performance planning for each member of our staff. We haven't done that in years past. I've had several conversations with DO or HR director in terms of not only just doing that for our police department, but doing that really across the board for all of our departments. I think training, opportunity, having a path for success for each individual that's going to be, that would pay dividends for the city for years to come. A whole list of different things in terms of softwares around transportation and putting phones and solid waste trucks and PD trucks just to inventory potholes, signage. There's a whole list of different innovative things that we could be doing for low cost. So definitely look forward to working with our senior staff and coming up with some more ideas for y'all to consider. Did want to touch on a few things in the report. June 15th, I understand we have a couple council members who cannot attend that meeting. I wanted to give the offer to the council if you wanted to choose to continue that meeting, to have it, to hold it, or if you'd like to cancel it. It's a fairly light agenda. We also have the June 18th workshop, and then we also have the June 24th workshop specifically on utilities budgeting. We could focus on those workshops if you'd like to forego the June 15th council, but it's really at council's discretion.
I'm the Monkey Ranch. I'm not going to be here for that next meeting.
You're going to be at the birth, too, so we're very excited.
Oh, awesome. So
But
exciting.
it depends on how much what the workload is. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff. It's up to all of you, but
How many people said they weren't coming?
We have two. So you technically have quorum, 3.
Right.
So again, it's at your discretion that there could be some items that you might feel like you want everyone, or at least the overwhelming majority of the council to be there to aid in the conversation and feedback before making votes. Totally up to you.
Do we have the agenda package, at least what's coming in? So
No, we have a rough idea, but again, some of the requests have been requested by multiple members of the council, and you would be missing those items, or at least 2 of the members of the council would be missing those.
Okay, could you send us the proposed or the idea of what would be coming on?
We can send a list out and perhaps go over it at this Thursday's briefings individually, and then we can make a decision then, if you'd like.
I'm not going to be here, so it's up to you two if you want to do the meeting or not. You're going to be the one that has to run it.
give it to you right now to take home with you.
I think it would be best to see what the agenda is. You said light, right? So I don't know what light looks like. So I want to be fair in the decision that I make, so I would like to know what light looks like.
We could provide a list to you
Okay.
between now and Thursday, just to give you an idea. Next up is...
Mr. State Manager, hold on, sorry. We're just asking, have a request that there's a consensus for what the city wants to do. Wait till Thursday?
Oh, we were going to wait until he
To
came
make a
back and
decision.
told us what the agenda was on Thursday.
Excellent.
As
Okay.
long as everyone is okay with that.
We're just making sure that the records accurately reflect what everyone's deciding. Thank you so much.
Whatever you guys decide, I'm good with.
Yeah, and then just as,
we
if
won't
you
be
guys do
here.
decide to cancel,
We're
just
at the
make sure
same
it's
barbecue.
properly noticed. If it does get canceled, just make sure that it's that cancellation is properly noticed.
Yeah, we want to give ample amount of time. So the consensus is you'll come back Thursday with a response to Tim? Is that correct?
Yes.
I'll meet with all of you individually on Thursday, and I'll get with the city clerk late Thursday afternoon. We'll make a decision.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very routine, June 25th, Thursday, I'll be absent out of the office that day. I just wanted to give you a heads up for that. I'll send that email too, just so you have a notification. I also want to make an announcement. We listed several recruiting efforts in our in the interim city manager report earlier from today. CFO Chris Williams, we did provide an offer to him. He is, again, with City of Mineola. He's their finance director. We're still working on a start date with him. He's been in contact with DO and HR to nail down a specific date. I am understanding from DO that he's excited to join the city. We just don't have a start date yet. I did also want to mention that the audits came up. There was some concern both from council and the staff. So I did have personal conversations with City of Mineola's mayor, Pat Kelly, who just resigned. Also, their city manager, Mark Johnson, brought up the audits, asked them, their take on it, especially with Mr. Williams. They didn't attribute any of the delays to Mr. Williams. They had nothing but positive things to say about him. The delays were well communicated. There was some other staff that did have some leave due to medical reasons. And they also shifted from a more analog to an electronic software for ERP, similar to our Tyler software. So we are comfortable making the offer. Again, we just don't have a start date yet. That position would have the finance department reporting to it, being the CFO, of course. Currently, the COO oversees the finance department here. So I'm having some conversations with our legal guidance in terms of how we would make the proper organizational chart amendments to reflect these changes. This is something that may have to come back to council, as I understand, and after re-reviewing our charter, a resolution approving an org chart from our council is required. So I plan on going over the org chart and some of these changes with you at all the Thursday briefings.
I think this is where Steve wanted to have a comment.
Yeah, I just wanted it put on the record because I know we can't talk to each other or get each other's opinions on anything. But I was very concerned when I found out that the person that we were possibly bringing in had missed the last 2 audits. I think we had issues previously with a previous finance director that's no longer with the city, where they came from another city where it didn't work out. We brought them here and it didn't end up working out. I think the council has placed a huge amount of emphasis on audits and transparency and all of that for finance. And we now have a finance team that's about to hit the date on the audit. And I would hate to bring in their boss, who then they have to train on how to hit an audit on time. So I just think, and I don't think this is our place. I don't know what it is, because we technically also didn't approve the org chart, and we technically only approve 1 person. But I just wanted it noted, I was very concerned about that, and I wasn't comfortable in just giving my, approval to Tim, just because I didn't feel like someone who had missed the last 2 audits should come to the city of Groveland.
May I make a comment?
Sure.
Would you please clarify? I heard Steve say 2 audits. Is that correct? I think I also heard you say that the ball was not in his court. Therefore, I'm going to ask you to go back and clarify whether there were 2 late audits, the rationale for it, and how you verified the information from the city manager and the mayor. Would you do that for me?
Happy to do that. I'm going again off of phone conversations with both the mayor and the city manager for the city of Mineola, who were directly involved in the audit. I'll reiterate the fact that when I asked the question, why were the audits delayed, and if it was any fault to the existing finance director, they mentioned it was not Mr. Williams' fault at all. They mentioned it was mostly due to both switching to a new ERP system and then also having some delays from other staff who were out on medical reasons.
Were there 2 audits or 1?
2.
That was late?
2 from our analysis.
I'm sorry.
2 from our analysis, the last 2 fiscal years.
And possibly this year.
Were you based on possibly this year?
Did they say that this year was on track? Because it sounded like this year may also be maybe the 3rd one that gets missed. Not for us, for the other city.
We're just now in June. That is the time frame to be on track with audits. We're on schedule here with the city. I would have to do more research with the city of Mineola.
Well, if it wasn't his fault and he had no control over it, and the mayor and city manager both said that it wasn't due to it was out of his control, I guess I'm a bit confused as to how he can be held accountable for 2 and now projections of possibly 3 delays. Somebody help a sister out, okay? Help me
I'm
understand.
unaware of a 3rd delay.
And one of the other things I was concerned about on top, because he is their chief, they call him the finance director, but he is the chief finance person for the city, so he would be the one that signs off. But also, in the first interview before I went and looked at their audits, he made it at least seem or said straight out to the staff that they had met all of their audits on time. So either he was unaware, he was that removed from the audit process that he didn't realize that they had missed the deadline, or he wasn't being 100% truthful. So that's another concern, was when this was first brought to staff, the staff knew how much we put an emphasis. They asked him about the audits, and he made it seem like the audits were in good shape and were submitted on time. So that's another concern of, are we bringing someone in who either missed the audits, or they were so removed from the audit process they weren't even involved and didn't realize that it was late, and now we're bringing them here to then submit our audits. And they are going to be at a larger city and have to handle a lot more staff, a lot more budget. So that was a concern.
Steve, did you personally talk to him, or are you going specifically from staff?
I spoke to some of their staff in Mineola and then also our staff.
But you never yourself interviewed with him,
No,
right?
because once I found out about these two things, it was a deal breaker for me.
Okay, can I speak?
All right.
Okay, I interviewed him. I did interview him. I thought, coming from Detroit and having gone through the audits with bankrupt city twice and helping them pull out, I thought as far as him being on the audit committee of the governor appointed in Michigan, and I think, did we get the resume to everybody? And I think that him, within the next month being a CPA, already as a CIA, which is more than we have here on staff, I don't think that people will be training him. I really don't. His answers were very good, and I think when we have certain people say, hey, was your audit on time or not? Remember, our audit was said to be on time if it got in by the 7th of December last year, because we were told it was an extension, and then it was out of time when it got in January. So I think we need to clear up what on time means with staff and everybody, but I would say that to find somebody, and I don't care whether he's from Mineola or where he's from, that has worked in the private sector for a major company, carrier in the finance, and worked for a Detroit that was a little bit bigger city and probably had a few more people reporting to him than will be here. I think that's kind of the person we're looking for. I hope we get all the answers that get everybody on board, but I know that this is the city manager's decision because we haven't changed the charter yet on that. But I would say, please get him in front of these people so that they can personally, instead of abstracting from other conversations, talk to him. You talk to him, you talk to him.
It's just, if you go through the audits, you can see where the auditor, it's the same auditor we use, for 2 years in a row is like, you need to come up with a plan to get this in on time. So, and that hasn't been done. So that's what's scary to me. Sorry.
Question, did he say that the audits were turned in on time, like when directly asked, or has he been asked that question? Because more so than the audits, if there was lying, like if we're lying about it, I have a way bigger issue with that than anything else. Now, I don't know if he did or he didn't. That's why I'm asking. Was he asked directly if the audit was on time, if there was an extension filed, like what, or that? Because it makes it sound like he's not being transparent. And if that's the case, I have an issue. But if that's not the case, we probably shouldn't make it sound like he's lying.
Well, I was
that's how it
told,
sounds like, if we can clear that up.
what I was told
I
from
wouldn't
Tim was-
interpret it as a lie.
Okay.
I think the
Thank
way
you
in
for
which
clearing that up,
likely
'cause I don't
asked
wanna
the question,
smear
we
someone's
didn't,
name.
we didn't ask them if your audits were late. In all honesty, at that time, we were looking at the previous year's audits that were on time. These latest two have not been. So the way we asked the question, I don't think he was given the opportunity to give a direct yes or no question.
I feel better about. Thank you for clearing that up, because I don't want to smear someone's name.
But do you remember what your question was? Because when you and I had talked, it seemed like it was very easy to determine where he could have expanded immediately and said, my two, because when we originally talked, it sounded like you had mentioned how the council really places on-time audits as a top priority, and he did not expand and say, oh, by the way, we didn't turn in our last.
He did not mention that they were delayed. We asked them how they did with their audits, and no major findings, that they did well, a response similar to that. But
In the interview I was in, he did say that they had changed over the
ERP.
from two different computer programs and all that. After it had already begun, they had to go back and redo it. But I would, again, I think the people that you can ask and get firsthand information instead of second or third, I would call the city manager that he reported to. The mayor, he never dealt with the mayor, ever. I mean, so the mayor is that probably isn't your best chance to get firsthand information, and I would talk to him. Get firsthand information, and then whatever your opinion is, get back with the city manager.
Mr. Maslow, do you have your marching orders? You have at least 3 people on the council. Now you have 4 sitting right next to you that want some answers immediately. You've already offered this person a position. Maybe you need to sit there and say, hey, we had, more issues come up. We need to have another conversation with you.
Well, I did.
I honestly have given you as much feedback, in all honesty, as I can. And in terms of the mayor's responses, I think he's encouraging the rest of council to meet with him if you haven't. I know some of the council members have.
And that's at the discretion of, remember, we don't hire or fire anybody but him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's offering grace there, but I think if you can get somebody that has a CPA, a CIA, a forensic accounting background, all the stuff that we're saying that he may not be able to do and what committees he was on, I think he should talk to you and convince you. I think it should come from him.
I did meet with him, and I did ask about the audits. And what he told me was, when I got there, they were still writing paper checks, and everything was in an uproar. And I was like giving him the side eye, because y'all know how I do. I was giving him the side eye, and I asked the question like in 2 or 3 different ways. And then the city manager confirmed with his boss that it wasn't his fault. What are we supposed to do? And then the comment made about the people training him. Are you kidding me?
He would have to train them how to meet the deadline. He hasn't met it. I don't think he's ever met a deadline for an audit.
He's saying in the past 2 years.
Since being at Mineola.
But not in Detroit, and not.
No, I'm just saying, we have his recent knowledge.
Did everybody have a chance to meet with him? Was everybody offered the opportunity to meet with him, even though we can't make the decision? But everyone did have the opportunity to meet with him, is that right?
No, I did not have an opportunity to meet with him.
I was told that everything was on hold because of the missed audits. We're
Same
waiting
story.
on that feedback.
So
I will remind, I'd asked Dio on multiple occasions to reach out to each of you to offer you the ability to meet. I will remind
I think
Dio
only
again.
2 have met.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 met, but I'm saying that 5 have the opportunity to meet with him.
The rest of us were told to wait until this had been worked out, the audit stuff. At least that's what it sounds like you two were told.
Exactly.
I'm reminding our HR director right now.
I'm sorry?
I'm reminding our HR director to reach out to each of the individual council members right now.
Tim,
Well, either we're going to hire or
Mayor.
we're not. Enough of the slow walking. That's the appearance of what happened when there appeared to be a qualified interim city manager where not everybody on the council met with them.
Mayor.
I don't I don't think
Mayor.
I'd go there, but I would go.
May I speak?
Yes, ma'am.
I just happened to be in Dio's office about a week and a half ago, and he did try to, I know, place one call to council members, and I believe he emailed as well or text, and he wasn't able to get in touch. So he may have that information, you know, I do know that.
We beat this horse to death. We just, I will remind the council, I'm sure you're up to date on how many people we've lost because we messed around, you know, or didn't close the deal like we should have. And I would hate to see this man, not because he's from Mineola, but because he's been in a city that's 50 times bigger than ours and has gone through so many different paths, and he understands forensic auditing as well, so he'll be able to help us out. I personally don't think after talking to him, and I hope you share that after you talk to him, that anybody will be training him.
Thank you. That concludes my report.
It? Oh, okay. Next.
Thank you. I appreciated the opportunity to speak at your neighborhood huddle on Thursday.
For taking the time to do
Yeah,
that.
hopefully didn't put too many people to sleep. And I appreciate the mayor and the vice mayor for being there as well, and having questions and trying to engage with some of the stuff we were trying to do there. So I appreciate that. Other than that, city attorney does not currently have a report.
Can I ask you a question?
Certainly.
Because I want to know that I've been getting in trouble lately. If I want to send him a note based on the stuff that he handed out tonight and say what I agree with and I don't agree with, it's because that's public information, and I can take the public information and go through it and send it back to him so he's ready for the next meeting. Is that legal or illegal?
That's a sunshine violation because you just said it's coming up in a future meeting, so that is a matter that's going to come before the council for a vote, and you're discussing it outside of a public meeting. So the fact that it's public information that's made available doesn't mean that you can discuss it that's part of the privilege that you kind of give up in terms of your ability to communicate freely as a member of any kind of body, whether it's elected or appointed, is that you are restricted to communicating this to avoid any kind of appearance of backroom dealing.
Okay, thank you.
So you can't send it to all of us? Would that be fine, or no, it's still because he's giving an opinion on what he said?
So it
I
starts
thought as
getting
long as I
it starts
sent
getting
it back,
tricky.
He didn't send something back. That was a,
It starts getting really tricky. It starts getting really. You can have an individual. First of all, never send anything to every council member, because the second anyone accidentally hits reply all, it's a sunshine violation. The second anyone hits a reply between any two of you, so that it becomes a sunshine law potential issue, right? Not necessarily automatically a violation, but you don't want to run the risk of that. And so I think one of the key things to remember is that this is where you guys get to talk. You guys have your opportunity to speak to each other here. These things are brought before you so that you can have these discussions. You have discussion time on these topics in the public eye. That's part of the public trust is that. And so while you can send, I know Councilmember Jay Cox has sent memos to you guys. As long as none of you guys respond to that, that's okay. The Attorney General and the Ethics Commission has been pretty consistent that there's nothing wrong for kind of one-way presentation style information, as long as there's no dialogue or discussion that happens between them. But the only reason that is kind of frowned upon a little bit is because it raises that chance that someone's going to want to respond outside of the setting. But purely informational distribution is not prohibited.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, that's all right in mind. So.
Great. Well, that concludes 9:10. Thank you all for being here.
One of our earlier ones.